The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
Kiwi.
Well, Luke from i.p.a Beer has been on a bit of a tour of the States at the moment. Suppose it's a bit of a beer tour. He's going to tell us all about it, but he's ended up in Chicago where they are holding the World Beer Cup. Luke from i.p.a Beer, as you'd imagine, is pretty passionate about his beer, and he's put his beer into the competition. Now, he's also a judge. He's not, of course, judging his own beer, because that would be wrong. He's judging in other categories. And the judging has wrapped up. To talk with us more about the World Beer Cup and his tour around the States, Luke joining us from Chicago. Hello to you, Luke.
Hello. It's only 7:45.
7:45 here in the morning. It's about, 2:45 over there?
It is. It's getting nearly beer o'clock.
Yeah. We won't hold you from the beer for too long, but I'd imagine you've tasted a fair few while you're over there.
I have, actually. I've been on a bit of a tour prior to judging. I guess it was a bit of getting a bit of practice in.
And that was the main reason to go over there for the Beer Cup itself?
Yeah, the Beer Cup was, I guess, the initial reason to come this far. I've had 2 days judging. The Craft Brewers Conference, which is the largest conference for craft brewers in the world, started today. It's been a sellout. There's nearly 3,500 brewers from around the world that have come to Chicago to see what the latest and greatest is in craft beer.
It seems like, would you say that the craft brewing, small-scale beer brewing, has really exploded in the last decade?
Oh, it has indeed, and every year it just seems to get bigger and bigger, and it seems to be the segment of the beer market that continues to grow when worldwide, I guess, total consumption is easing off and coming off its peaks, and but people are changing from maybe drinking a 12 or a 24 pack over a period of time to maybe drinking a 4 or a 6 pack of craft beer. So
it is definitely consumer driven, do you think?
Oh, very much so. It's people sort of discovering new flavours and finding out that beer can actually have a huge range of wonderful flavours and aromas, and actually sort of just taking the time to enjoy that rather than just having a beer that's cold and quenches the thirst. There are occasions for that, but there's also other occasions where you can enjoy flavour. Yeah.
Now, beer from the States, for most people, it's probably had a bad reputation for many decades because it's all been about Budweiser, and the taste of Budweiser didn't seem to be all that popular for anyone outside the States. But what's your experience of American beer?
Well, it's actually been my influence for making the i.p.a beers, which is kind of odd because I've actually looked at the craft brewing industry in the States, which has been going pretty much since the late 70s, and I think the likes of Australia and New Zealand have started to, I guess, we've travelled a bit, and sort of some of us have discovered that these wonderful beers made by small craft breweries all around North America can be quite tasty, and we've come back and started creating in Australia and New Zealand. There's actually 1,500 or approximately 1,500 craft breweries in the US now, which is nearly back to what they had pre-Prohibition in the 1930s.
Right.
And they're making a fantastic array of beers.
So 1,500. How many have we got in New Zealand?
We have 50, so I think we still may have more per head of population. But once again, most people in the public don't realise that they're out there because they don't get distributed well. They probably don't have the resources to let people know that they're there. So it's just pretty much grassroots and word of mouth to get the word out, and we're slowly growing, and people are discovering our different beers and the different flavours they have.
So where have you been?
Where have I been? Started in San Francisco, had 3 days there, which was amazing. 3 days in Portland, a few days in Madison and Milwaukee, and then finally came to Chicago on Sunday. So I've had having a week in Chicago.
Was that actually was that visiting the bars that stock the craft beers, or is that actually visiting the breweries themselves?
Oh, right across the board. It was bars that are selling great beer that have a good selection, just seeing what they're doing, trying different beers that I couldn't get to those breweries, and also visiting brew pubs and microbreweries in each of those locations, just to talk to the brewers, seeing what they're doing, seeing what the new trends are, looking for some inspiration for myself for when I come back to New Zealand.
Yeah.
To create something new.
What's inspired you?
There've been there's all sorts of things. I usually find it takes me a few weeks after a trip like this to come back to New Zealand, let the ideas settle down, and a few things pop out. Like a couple of years ago when I came to San Diego, I got inspired by really hoppy IPAs, and that's where Epic Armageddon IPA came from.
Right. Which
just from that. So from this one, I don't know. I've tasted all sorts of crazy beers that have been aged in bourbon barrels and really strong high alcohol beers and beers with. I had one judging the other day that had peppermint in it, which just blew me away. And
wow.
It was extremely drinkable. It was a stout made with peppermint and coffee, and then aged in a bourbon barrel. Which
wow.
Was,
amazing.
Go figure.
Yeah.
Who would have thought of that?
Yeah. Yeah. So there are new and fresh ideas coming out all the time.
Oh, indeed. It's where does your imagination stop? But at the end of the day, you have to be able to balance those flavours to make a really drinkable beer that is enjoyable.
Yeah. Of course, the bottles and the labels of craft beers are extremely unique as well. Is there a temptation to try and take as many bottles home as you can? You know, because you drink a beer and you think, oh, I want to sort of savour this by keeping the label or something.
No, I'm actually bringing the bottles back with beer in them.
Oh, are you?
And now I have to work out. I've collected all these bottles just because I've met sort of friends and brewers along my travels, and many people have given me beers, and now I've got to the point where it's like, have I got enough clothing to wrap all my bottles in to fit them in my suitcase?
And of course, there's a certain allowance that you have.
Oh, that's right. And I'll work it out somehow.
Yeah, but you could organise a shipping crate, perhaps.
Where would I stop, though?
Yeah. So Well, exactly. Where would you stop? So the World Beer Cup has been on this week, and the judging has already taken place. Now, how many? You must have gone through hundreds of beers in the judging process.
Yeah, I think actually I haven't tallied them up. I probably would have over the 2 days would have tasted probably about 120, 130 different beers in the 2-day session. So you start at 9 and you finish at 5 basically. So it's like a whole day's job.
Do you spit
break
beer?
For lunch.
Do you spit beer out?
No, you can't, because you need to swallow it to experience the bitterness, because you actually experience the full bitterness right across the back of your palate, and it's too late to spit it out then. So
you'd have to pace yourself.
Yeah, well, you're only having little tastes, so I think I've worked out that it's probably the equivalent of drinking a 6-pack in 8 hours.
Yeah. Of course, not everyone who enters a beer gets to judge, do they? So you're part of a select group of judges from all around the world.
That's right. A very select group.
How did you manage to get on the judging panel?
I got invited to be a judge my first World Beer Cup, which is held every 2 years, which was in 2006. Just through reputation, they were looking for more international judges, and you have to be nominated by 3 current judges. So basically you have to be known to have a very good palate and a very good understanding of different beer styles. And some good networking, I'd imagine, amongst craft brewers. Oh yeah, this occasion is this is the location you come to for meeting all of the people in the global craft brewing community. Yeah. And so the epic beer that's up for judging, is that the i.p.a. Armageddon? It is. It hasn't been. This is its first time at the World Beer Cup. It's probably because there are very defined beer styles. There's 90 defined beer styles in the world. So the Armageddon fits probably most comfortably within a style, whereas the other beers, the Pale Ale and the Lager, have been entered before, but the feedback came back that they were too hoppy. Okay. Which is a very big compliment to me, because that's what I intended. Yeah. But Armageddon's probably more of a traditional defined style for a beer, so I've entered that, but it's probably gone into a category with 100 other beers from around the world within the same style. So it's like going to the Olympics, basically. Well, I must say, from personal experience, it would get a 9.5 for me, or maybe even 10 on some days. Well done. It's an amazing. I've got to say, personally, my own experience, a wonderful beer. But you just said 90 distinctive styles. Styles, yes. Wow. I mean, all I can think is lager, an ale, and a dark beer. I'd only put them on one hand, probably. Yeah, well, you've missed out rye beers and fruit beers and herb and spice beers and coffee-flavoured beers and gluten-free beers and wood-aged beers and sour beers and German-style Pilsners and Bohemian Pilsners and Munich Pilsners and Dortmunders and... Cripes. And then there's all the pale ales, and it goes on, and Belgian-style beers and IPAs and stouts and out to 90 styles. Well, what happens at the World Beer Cup over the next couple of days? Well, now that the judging's finished, there's the Craft Brewers Conference, and then on Saturday night there's the World Beer Cup Awards Dinner. So there'll be some phenomenal number, like 1,800 or 2,000 people sitting down to dinner, which I don't even know how someone caters to that, but they do, and they do an amazing job with the food and beer matching. And then they go through the awards, and the people that win gold get to go up on stage. So it's actually a lot of people throughout the evening that get presented the gold medal for 90 different styles.
Excellent. Well, Luke, we're very, very proud to have you representing us here in New Zealand at the World Beer Cup. And best of luck for the Epic Beer i.p.a. Armageddon.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, Luke.
Okay.
And of course, you can follow Luke on Twitter as well, twitter.com/Epic Beer, one word. And no doubt he will be tweeting from that dinner. It's now